weary with toil, I haste me to my bed. The dear repose for limbs with travel tired, but then begins a journey in my head, to work my mind when body's work expired. For then my thoughts from far where I abide intend a zealous pilgrimage to thee, and keep my drooping eyelids open wide, looking on darkness which the blind do see, save that my soul's imaginary sight presents thy shadow to my sightless view, which like a jewel hung in ghastly night makes black night beauteous and her old face new. Lo, thus by day my limb, by night my mind, for thee and for myself no quiet find. So that was Sonnet 27. This one, I really like this one. This is like contemplatively optimistic. I really liked the metaphor of, and it's so relatable, the idea of like you worked a double shift or a really long day and you go to bed, but then your mind's just still racing, especially when there's like something to think about, like new love or something, that's keeping your mind racing. But that contrast of like an exhausted body that just wants to sleep in the mind that's like, nah, it's not happening, is super relatable. And so that it was immediately easy to connect to there. But oh my gosh, how optimistic is that concept of like, my mind's racing and my thoughts are where you are, and that's keeping my eyes open, and so I'm just staring at this darkness in my dark bedroom or wherever. But it's okay, because looking at the dark is dark like your shadow, and maybe I'll see your shadow, and that would be wonderful. Like that's a super optimistic thought of like, it's okay that I'm laying here in bed staring at the ceiling, because the darkness in my room is the same color as your shadow. Oh, what a sap, Shakespeare. But that's so great. But it's funny because one of the words that struck me was, for then my thoughts from far where I abide intend a zealous pilgrimage to thee, which a zealous pilgrimage is not really something people in 2017 can relate to as readily as maybe people in the late 1500s could. The concept of multi-day, multi-week travel is pretty alien to a society that can, literally hop a plane from New York and land in China in a couple days, like all said and done. You can measure the flight in hours. It's mind-blowing. And so that metaphor is it kind of struck me as, that is kind of an archaic word for us now, pilgrimage, that has kind of almost exclusively religious, because I mean it was a religious thing back then, but back then the concept of a pilgrimage is like, well, yeah, you had no choice. If you wanted to go to like the holy place of whatever your religion is, you couldn't just hop a plane even if you wanted to. And so the fact that travel was limited in that way made it this kind of like character building journey that you kind of have to, if you want that, you have to impose it on yourself now. It's, because you could conceivably just hop a plane. But people still, like for example, people that choose to hike the Appalachian Trail, that is a journey, like a pilgrimage that's measured in this long duration of time and involves so much work. So that kind of work metaphor of like, my body's exhausted from a day of work, but now my mind has a full day of work ahead of it, which is this pilgrimage to where you are. And then it closes so beautifully with the for thee and for myself no quiet find. So that like super romantic idea that if I'm lying in my bed awake thinking about the person I love, oh, maybe they're lying awake where they are thinking about me. Like that's like a super sappy and immediately relatable idea that still absolutely resonates in 2017. Like that is every teenager. That is every teenager with a crush. Um, but yeah, so this was a fun one. Yeah, Sonnet 20. Oh wow, Sonnet 28 next week. We're almost at 30. That's gonna be pretty crazy. So yeah, thanks for watching.